Member for North Vancouver, Seymour.
Thank you very much, Chair. I have a question for the Minister about oil spill response. And one of the neat little things that I discovered was that there is this website called marinetraffic.com that actually tells you where tankers are. As a matter of fact, worldwide, which is fascinating, and it does it in real time, like right now. So I asked my staff a couple minutes ago if they could get me a real-time picture of tankers that are basically just outside our front door here in Victoria, as well as all the way around Vancouver Island, the southern Vancouver Island, all the way up to Vancouver, and then outside my riding. And I found it quite interesting when I looked at the world view right now, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tankers that are on our coast right now, the provincial coast of British Columbia. I gather coming to or from Alaska. But the one that I found very interesting was the ones that were occurring in real time right now outside our door. And I note that according to this map, it says that there are 1, 2, 3 right outside of Victoria right now. One's a little bit closer to Nia Bay, but there's a couple, actually there's 3 at Port Angeles right across. There's one in Anacortes right now, there's one in Bellingham, and there's 2 or 3 in the Vancouver area. So my question is to the Minister with regards to American tankers, because the only ones I can see that are actually Canadian tankers of the 3, the rest of them that I've just mentioned are all American tankers. So I guess my question is the Minister concerned about the oil transport through American tankers around our coast, at our coast waters?
Minister.
Thank you, Chair. And the answer to the member is yes, we're concerned about all spills from all sources. We have a single body of water in the Salish Sea, so anything that happens, whether it's a U.S. tanker, a Canadian tanker, south or north of the border, it's one body of water, and both jurisdictions could be impacted, and we try to mitigate this risk by participating in the Pacific States Oil Spill Task Force. We do joint exercises, we do joint drills, we do joint planning, and it's also why we've put our spill control regulations phase 2. We've promulgated phase 1, and phase 2 is currently out for consultation through our intentions paper.
Member.
Well, thank you very much, Chair, and thank you very much for that confirmation. So is the Minister worried that the federal government's promise when the Trans Mountain pipeline was approved, the federal government had previously promised $1.5 billion for the Ocean Protection Plan, and a big portion of that, I understand, was to come to British Columbia. Is the Minister concerned that that might be at risk if this whole issue with the Trans Mountain is not resolved?
Minister.
Thank you, Chair. The amount dedicated for BC's coast, BC's and Canada's coast, is $450 million. We have no reason to think that the commitment of the federal government to spend that money to protect the Pacific coast of Canada is at risk. No, I'm not concerned, and in fact the Minister responsible confirmed that they were proceeding with the Oceans Protection Plan, including in British Columbia.
Member.
When was that confirmation made?
Through the chair, of course. Minister. Minister.
Thank you, Chair. I can't remember the exact date, but we can bring that tomorrow. But I know that confirmation happened after there was some widespread speculation that the funding might be at risk. The minister confirmed that it was not.
Member.
Thank you. So maybe that information then through the chair would be helpful to know, because I know that some of my constituents are concerned about that. And then my next question is there, if the provincial government is successful in putting a stop to the Trans Mountain project, then what would the minister say with regards to protecting our coasts from all of the other tankers that are currently outside our waters right now?
Minister, and noting the hour.
Thank you, Chair. And first of all, to the premise of the member's question that that BC has the ability to stop the project, I would correct the member and say that only the courts at this point would have the ability to stop the progress of the project, or the proponent themselves. And we're an intervener in that case, but we didn't initiate the case. It was a case underway. To the rest of the member's question, I would say that we remain concerned, and we're also always looking for ways to improve spill prevention, response, and recovery. That's why we have been working in British Columbia for many years on that. And under this government, the work begun by the previous government is being given life through regulation, which is currently out for consultation. We continue to work with the federal government and the state of Washington and other Pacific states on, as I mentioned before, training exercises, drills. We will do the scientific review that we discussed. We'll participate with the federal government in their scientific initiatives. We are doing what we said we would do. We believe that we have an obligation to defend BC's coast, our coastal economy, the tens of thousands of jobs and benefits to communities and First Nations that depend on keeping our coastline clean. We're standing up for BC's interests. I would also say to the question from the member, the minister responsible, Mark Garneau, as reported in the Globe and Mail on March 13th, 2018, says that the fate of the ocean spill plan is not linked to the BC pipeline debate, and the member could look that up. And Chair, noting the hour, I move that the committee rise and report progress and ask leave to sit again.
Thank you. Members have heard the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. This committee